Today on the table, I'm doing a teardown of an old Telstra Dave phone, also known as a ZTE T83. On the table here I've got a metal pry tool, Phillips head screwdriver, some tweezers, and a T8 screwdriver, which is needed for the outer bolts that are on here. Anyway, to begin with, we'll start with the T8, and there is 4 screws in each corner of the phone, and then there's also 2 extra ones, or 1 extra one on each side of the phone as well, which you'll soon see in a minute. It does take a little bit to get this phone apart. There is a couple of small tricks if you've never done this one before. As always, I've got it on the heat pad. It's not really necessary in this phone, but anyway, good old habit to have. One thing to be careful of too, when you go to remove the back cover, you are going to lose a lot of the little covers that are on the side for the SIM tray, the USB port, and then also the ones for the buttons as well. So make sure when you do go to take that back cover off, you're a bit careful of it, or else it might fling off, basically disappear on the carpet from there. So you'll see that in just a second. In the majority, or about halfway off, you should be able to pry it off with your hand. And then we see the back of the phone from here. So there's a couple of little covers to take off. I'll start at the top. No, we'll start in the bottom. 1 Phillips head screw on the bottom left. Here we go, just make it a bit easier to see. 1, 2, 1 cover removed. Then from here, I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to get under the plug. I'm going in from the black side, which is the earth. I wouldn't recommend trying to pry it with metal on the positive side. I'll work our way up to the top here. And there's 3 screws holding this in. Nope, 2, and we're off. Next thing I'm going to disconnect is the digitizer cable, which clips up. And from there you should be able to work the cable out. If you're using tweezers, just be a bit careful with it, not to damage it. Granted, you are replacing the screen, so that should be on the new screen anyway. Prying between the main board and the assembly. Now you should hopefully be able to start lifting it up. It is taped down fairly well, but I typically pry from the opposites, or the side that doesn't have the USB port on it, because that's the side that tends to lift up easier without any chance of, or with less chance of damaging anything. Once you lift it up from here, be careful. There's the LCD flex cable connected. That's it disconnected. So it's a small little clip-up tab, and that gets it there. So now I'm down to the main body of the phone. And one other thing I will do, just for the sake of doing a full swap, is take out the earpiece speaker, which there is a small groove to the right of it to be able to pry underneath. It is fairly well stuck down, so I find you need to dig in further than you normally think you would and try and lift it out. Otherwise, if you just try and get an edge, just under one edge of it, and try and lift it, you'll more than likely damage the speaker. And you might also have this as well, where one of the shields off the mainboard stays stuck to the phone. So as you can see, I'm using the flat pry tool here. I'll be able to get that off from there. So it does take a little bit of force to get it. assembly. So putting in the earpiece speaker up the top here. Next from there I'll turn off my heat pad, not overly necessary anymore. Next up I'll grab the main board. And as you see there's a little lock in there with the FPC connector. You should be able to slide that cable into it. And then push the latch down to lock it into position. And the next thing you want to do is lift up the digitizer cable so it doesn't make contact. Now you should be able to clip this into place as well. And the ports on the side, so the SD card, the SIM card and the USB port should all be viewable on the side of the phone right now. Now I've just connected up the digitizer. Going to return these little brackets and covers back on. And then plug the battery in as well. Be careful of here is making sure that little orange gasket on the back cover doesn't fall out. Now I typically to begin with I usually put the power button in up the top and then the volume up and down on the side, and then I put the back cover on. Find that way it holds them into place. Otherwise trying to sit everything on the phone and then put the back cover on, it's just madness. So flip that on, click it in the top left hand corner, and then from there I can feed in the extra covers. And do need to figure out the orientation, they will only fit one way. And then after that the back screws are in it and you should be hopefully done. Anyway, I'll let the video play out from here and I'll catch you in the next one.